Thank you for joining us for Pet Connect. I'm Tara Douglas. Before we get to our special guest today, I have a couple of updates to give you. Our available pet of the week is Kip. He's 1 year old, heartworm negative, and he's in line to get neutered. He is one of the 60+ dogs at our Sylacauga Animal Shelter. And I was able to go and spend some time with him last Friday at the play yard at the shelter. And he's a bit timid. The shelter staff's been working with him in the months that he's been there, and his personality really came out while we were in that play yard. So if you're interested in adopting Kip or any of the 60+ dogs at the shelter, then certainly, there's a picture of Kip right there. He's a very sweet boy. But if you would like to adopt him or any of those animals at the shelter, the dogs, then stop by there, and I recommend taking them out to that play yard, because that's when you can really see their personality after they've been in their kennel. And with that said, with the 60+ dogs we have there at the shelter, an update with Feral Dogs of Avondale Mill is that this week we were able to get 18 dogs out of the shelter on a transport to New Jersey to a rescue there, where they'll have a better opportunity to get adopted. And that makes 995 dogs and cats this year that Feral Dogs of Avondale have been able to save and get to other rescues. And in the 7 years of their existence, they've rescued over 9,000 dogs and cats from this area and sending them to rescues in other parts of the country. And for those of you who don't know what Feral Dogs of Avondale is, they are the local nonprofit, and they provide aid and volunteer, and they raise money for the local shelter as well as for the local stray and pet population. They have a system of fosters. They work on those transports we just discussed. There's so many things that they do. So if you are interested in volunteering or helping the Sylacauga Animal Shelter or Feral Dogs of Avondale Mill, you can find them on Facebook at the Feral Dogs of Avondale Mill and Friends of Sylacauga Animal Shelter. Because of course on this show we certainly encourage people to provide community service in the help of animals, but there's so many ways that you can help a community. And our two guests here today are no strangers to community service. We have two of our candidates for Miss Sylacauga. We have Elena Price and Carrie Hayes. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes. So Elena, before we get into the introductions, tell us when is the competition, what time, where is it going to take place?
Of course. So our competition is going to be on Saturday, October 1st. It was a location change from Sylacauga's auditorium to B.B. Comer's auditorium.
Okay.
It will take place at 5:30 p.m. and the doors will open at 5 o'clock.
That's great, and we'll announce that a couple of times while we talk to you. Now, I know everyone is very excited to get to know both of you, so let's start with Carrie. Carrie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, so I am currently 20 years old. I just graduated Central Alabama Community College. I work at Cup of Grace. My social impact is Express Your Voice. It is raising awareness for speech disorders, because I actually have a speech disorder, or a lot of people call them speech impediments. And my talent is dance, and I've actually been competing for Miss Sylacauga for the past 3 years now.
Great, so you are a seasoned veteran out there.
I am, yes ma'am.
Now tell me a little more about what are your plans, your future plans?
So right now I'm in the process of opening a business. I can't announce anything actually yet because we are very early in the process, but hopefully we'll be launching in the early months of next year. And I plan on going back to college, majoring in business and marketing, and that's why I love Miss America organization, because they offer scholarships to their candidates. And Miss Sylacauga is actually the first and only competition I have competed in that you get a scholarship just for competing. And it's always totaled to around $3,000 to $5,000. I've received about $2,000 with my 3 years.
That's great.
Yes.
And you mentioned Miss America, so the Miss Sylacauga competition feeds into Miss Alabama,
yes,
and
ma'am.
That in turn feeds into Miss America.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes.
you will, there'll be so many opportunities through the Miss Sylacauga competition.
Yes, of course.
Absolutely. Now give us a little bit more about that social impact initiative you talked about.
Oh yeah, of course. So I wanted to do something that I knew was going to make a difference, and always I was scared on speaking, public speaking, because of my speech impediment, and I always thought it I sound funny, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to become that role model that I always needed when I was little, the one that doesn't sound like anybody else. And so I created Express Your Voice, and I just go around advocating for speech disorders. I am actually in the works of partnering with an organization to raise money for a scholarship for those who want to help be a speech therapist. And I'm so excited for that, actually. And I've actually only been working on this for about 2 years now, and it has come together so beautifully. I love it so much, and I've also tried to end the stigma. That's the main thing, because usually if you hear somebody that doesn't sound like you think that they're uneducated or they're not as bright, but that's not true. It just means we're a little different, just how God made us.
Absolutely, and that can be such a big impact that you can make. So that social impact initiative is a very good name for what you're doing.
Yes.
Now, of course, this is Pet Connect. So we talked earlier. Tell me about your pet.
Yes, so I have a Corgi and an Australian Shepherd mix. His name is Philip. He turns 2 actually this month. He is the most funniest dog ever. He does not like walking upstairs, but he can jump a 13-foot boulder. He loves cheese. He loves cheese more than meat, which is hilarious. I know. So his treats have gone from little like pieces of chicken to slices of cheese. It's amazing. But I've had him for the past 2 years. I got him when he was a puppy, and he's become my best friend.
That's great.
Yes.
Now, Elena, tell us about you.
Okay, so I am currently a senior at Sylacauga High School. I'm 17. This will be my first pageant in the Miss Sylacauga competition. I am performing a piano piece for my talent, and my social impact initiative is Hometown Helpings. I am partnering with Alabama Childhood Food Solutions, the food bank.
Okay, great. So tell us a little more about that while we're talking about it. What will you be doing with the Hometown Helpings?
So I'm bringing awareness and action to the food banks that we have in town. I feel like a lot of people don't realize that it's over there. I've lived here my whole life, and so have my parents, and we didn't really hear about it until recently when we started serving there with our church.
Okay.
So I'm working to create a local food drive to help them, because the inflation that we've had over the past few years has made it very difficult for them to be able to provide for our communities in the surrounding area.
Absolutely. So with you saying that a lot of people don't know about the food bank and the help they can get in this area, can you share with us just a little bit about where that food bank is and how you can get help?
Yes, so it is right past on 280. If you're going on to 280 from the road currently right here, oh, it's kind of hard to describe. It's kind of off in the middle of nowhere,
okay.
Honestly. It's like a big warehouse, but every week they provide food for the citizens of Sylacauga and the surrounding counties.
That's great. And what is the name of that organization that does that?
Alabama Childhood Food Solutions.
Okay. Now tell me, you're a senior in high school.
Yes, ma'am.
So what are your plans when you graduate?
I actually plan to go to college out of state.
Okay.
I plan to go hopefully up to Boston. They have one of the top medical schools there, so I want to go up there, and then after undergrad, I plan to attend medical school.
Okay, well that sounds great. Now tell us about your pets.
Ooh, my pets. I have one dog. Her name is Molly, and she's a rat terrier. She's kind of old. And then I have my baby. Her name is Roxy. She's a Cocker Spaniel. She is the funniest dog you'll ever meet. She's so smart. She loves all of her tricks all the time, and she loves to play with her ball.
So both of you have very interesting dogs, it sounds like.
Yes, ma'am.
And we hope to see you volunteering some with the animal shelter. And
Yes.
so of course I've got to promote that and get the
Yes,
two of you
ma'am.
out there to do that. Now, Carrie, going back to you, tell us about the competition, about a little bit of the history of Miss Sylacauga, what will be happening Saturday night with the different performances.
Oh yes, of course. So Miss Sylacauga is actually one of the oldest Miss Alabama preliminary competitions. And we'll have local talents. So I believe the opener is going to be Southern Dance Performing Arts. Then we have Isabella Kirkland, our Miss Sylacauga's Outstanding Teen, performing. We have Lacey Wood, our current Miss Sylacauga, performing. Okay. And then closing should be Center Stage. And so I'm so excited to see everybody perform their talent. And it's actually one of my favorite things to watch, especially like while you're backstage and you see everybody performing. It's so much fun.
And center stage is the Dance Academy, and then we also have the Southern Dance and Performing Arts who will be there, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So that should be a really good show. I hope we have a lot of members of the community come out to cheer everybody on and to watch such a good show. Now, Elena, tell us what happens with the phases of the competition.
Okay, so the first phase is interview. It's 10 minutes for the Miss Sylacauga competitors and 6 for the Outstanding Teen competitors. And then we move into on-stage question. So all of the Miss competitors have an on-stage question, and they give their social impact initiative pitch, which will be 30 seconds. And the teen competitors also have an on-stage question, but instead of a social impact pitch, they do a routine, a fitness routine. And then we have evening wear, which is also called the red carpet, where we walk in our evening gown on stage, and then we have our 90-second talent portion.
Okay, and so I know both of you are very excited to get out there and to do that, but you will also be mentoring some young ladies there. So can one of you tell me about those 2023 rising stars that are going to be coming in?
Oh, yes, of course. So Rising Stars are for little girls that are ages 7 to 11, and they will get the full VIP backstage pass access. They'll be there for rehearsal. They'll be with us on the day of. They get autographs from our current Miss Sylacauga Outstanding Teen and Miss Sylacauga. They also, I believe, will get a t-shirt, and they are also in the performance too. They'll actually perform on stage with everybody else, and they get their own little shining moment, which is so great.
I bet that they just really enjoy that. And did they have the Rising Stars in the other years that you were a candidate for Miss Sylacauga?
So last year they did. I think last year might have been the first year.
Okay.
Because my first year they did not, and my second year they did, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. Like, this is amazing. And it's one of my favorite things. I know so many little girls that would love to be in the pageant but are too young. I'm like, so last year I was able to get one of the girls I know to be a rising star, and she absolutely loved it.
Great. And Elena, I know you're excited for the first time to be able
to
mentor some of these young ladies that will be out there with you. Now, Elena, we have Miss Sylacauga, and who else is competing? What's the other? It's the
Miss Sylacauga Outstanding Teen.
Okay, and
so that age group is 13 to 17.
Okay, and so those are so they'll be doing most everything that you're doing. They're just not. They don't have their. Do they talk about their social impact initiative? Did you say that just Miss Sylacauga talks about?
I think just Miss Sylacauga gives it on stage.
Okay.
They will talk about it in their interview with the judges.
Okay, and how many people are competing for Miss Sylacauga's Outstanding Teen? Is it?
I think it's 8.
7.
Is it 7?
It's 7.
Okay, and then how many of you are competing for Miss Sylacauga?
3.
Okay, so we've got 3, and so certainly we hope that, again, like I said, we hope the community will come out and support these candidates for Miss Sylacauga and Miss Sylacauga's Outstanding Teen, and support those rising stars that'll be coming up. So we'll have Carrie, since Elena started out with all the information. We've got the slide up, so Carrie, tell us when the competition's happening again. And
okay, so the competition will be happening this Saturday, October 1st. There was a location change. It used to be at Sylacauga High School, but now it's at B.B. Comer High School, and it's in the auditorium. The theme is a new attitude. Doors open at 5 p.m. and it will start at 5:30.
And tickets are $10, and you can certainly buy those in advance at misssylacauga.com, or you can buy them at the door. And thanks again, both of you, for coming on the show this morning. Do either of you have anything else to add?
I think you covered it,
Yes,
honestly.
ma'am.
Great.
Yes.
Well, we certainly appreciate all of the community service that the two of you have done. It sounds like you are rising stars also. And be sure to join us next week. We're going to have our youngest volunteer for Feral Dogs of Avondale Mills. She's going to come on and talk to us about the importance of spaying and neutering. And remember that we always have low-cost spay and neuter vouchers available that you can get through Feral Dogs or at Mutt Cuts on 210 Calhoun Avenue. Thank you again for joining us, and please come out and support all of our candidates for Miss Sylacauga this weekend on Saturday.